Ayala Corporation is focusing on electric vehicles as part of its ambition to lead the Philippines' EV revolution. The company has rebranded its automotive arm, AC Motors, to AC Mobility. The business owns licenses to distribute electric vehicles and scooters, as well as the building of charging stations and electric vehicle platforms. Cezar Consing is the CEO of Ayala Corporation. I caught up with him at one of the group's dealerships to find out more about its EV strategy. Last year was an exciting year for Ayala when you first got into the EV market with the sale of the Kia EV6. Since then, you snagged the rights to sell EVs made by China's BYD and electric scooters made by Taiwan's Gogoro. How are sales coming along?
Actually, pretty good. I was one, I think, of the first couple of buyers of this Kia EV6. The sales of this are actually very good, and I believe there's a waiting line. This car, the Auto 3, is probably the best seller of the BYD cars in the region. So as a start, this is a good start.
When you look at overall demand for EVs in the Philippines, they're a little bit slow because of the lack of charging stations. What are you doing to address this problem?
Well, that's right, Christine. The EVs haven't captured the imagination of the Filipinos until just very recently. And so there was no real infrastructure. What we've decided to do in Ayala is use our ecosystem, because we have a real estate company, we have a telco company, we have an industrial company. If we can bring that ecosystem together, we can build out a charging network and a system to support that charging network. So that's what we're doing. We've decided that we've got to do some of this ourselves, and hopefully the government will help out. So I suspect in a few years, EVs will be pretty much the norm.
How much are you spending putting up all that charging infrastructure? And is it starting to pay off?
Well, when all is said and done, it will run into the tens of millions of dollars. In the first 6 months, we'll have over maybe 100 charging stations. Is it paying off? No, it's too early to pay off. But is it within our plans? Certainly. Will it pay off? I think it will.
I know it's early days, but could EVs and the whole electric segment become a key growth pillar for the Ayala Group one day?
I would think so. It might take 3 or 4 years. When we do something, we want it to scale. So our vision for EVs is it becomes a real component of the Philippine transport sector.
Today, ASEN, your energy-listed company, has projects in the Philippines, in India, in Indonesia, Vietnam, and Australia. What new markets are you exploring next?
Well, ASEN's looking at projects in Bangladesh, for example. They're exploring projects in the US. They're exploring projects in Laos. And they continue to build, say, in Australia, where they're already very big. All of these markets, some emerging markets, some developed markets, they all need renewable energy. So ASEN is casting its net fairly wide.
So if you had to make a guess, what would your renewable energy portfolio look like in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, right now it's getting to about 5 gigawatts. By 2030, the management team is saying 20 gigawatts. Now that's huge. That's huge. That will mean that the balance sheet of this company is going to quadruple in size at least. We're already a fairly large player in Southeast Asia. That will make us a larger player. I would like to think that there will be several large players at the time, because I think this is where the market's going. But we'll be a force.